Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss a video from Testbook.com.
Hello everyone, this is Anjali and I welcome you all on Testbook.com. What we are going to see today is a very interesting aspect of an interview, guys, because here we are going to decode this interview in terms of, let's say, in the perspective of the interviewers, right? In the previous one session, if you would have gone through that video, we have already discussed what kind of questions you can expect in an interview, right? So that kind of a questions and the answers pertaining to those questions was a subject to be discussed or noted from the perspective of a candidate, guys, right? But in today's session, what we are going to understand is what an interview is looking for, right? If we understand that what person A is actually expecting from you or what he wants from you, right, then it would be easy for us to provide the same thing to him or her, isn't it? Because unless we don't have a clarity of this thing or the thought that how we are going to conduct an interview, what are their expectations, am I going to fulfill these or not, right? So we are here to decode all these things in our today's session, right? So if you know that interview, the word, if we decode it, that is nothing but the whole conversation process, right, which will be happening between the two personals, where these two people are actually meeting for the first time, guys, right? So I believe that interviews concept should not be limited to a questionnaire session that I keep on repeatedly saying again and again, right? So take it always as a part of a conversation, then the whole process will be very easy to go for, guys, right? I would like to take your attention towards the whiteboard, guys, where I have listed around 5 points which we are going to see in terms of the topic which is written here that goes with interviewers' expectations, guys, right? An interview is what, guys? It's just a place where you have been given an opportunity to prove yourself, right? That how you are a potential candidate to, or how you are the best candidate which they are searching for, isn't it? So you just need to portray yourself in a best possible way once you are aware that what they are looking for, so you can portray or you can actually present yourself onto the same way, guys, right? So without any delay, I would like your attention towards the first point which I have written in a very important term, not only in terms of interview, guys, in terms of our life as well, because your approach and attitude actually matters in anything or in any place where you are going for, right? And if we take about a survey of 2014 from the Career Builder, we get to know that 77% of the employers actually consider that soft skills are just as important as your hard skills are there, right? So when I say this soft skills and when I compare this thing with the hard skills, what I'm trying to say is, guys, that hard skills are nothing but the educational qualification, the skills which you possess and what you are very good at and why you are sitting in that organization. For example, you're facing any interview in a banking institute, so the information which I expect that you must be aware of or you are good at will be the accounting, will be the finance area, isn't it? But according to this particular point, you need to understand that you are not required only to keep your focus towards one point, that is hard skills, guys. There are certain points where the chances of performing better will be come in terms of your soft skills as well, guys, right? Soft skills are nothing but the way you possess, right? When somebody can define soft skill in such a way that it is something an inherent personal skills, right, rather than which you will go and study in books or you will mug up some of the answers, let's say, of technical questions, right? For example, the repo rate is going to be fixed, from the CRR is going to be fixed, right? But if I ask a question that tell me about yourself or what are your strengths and abilities or what are your weaknesses, that is not going to be fixed, guys, right? So these questions are actually and will be possessing inherent qualities which is coming out of you, guys, right? So when I say approach and attitude, this approach should be towards how you are taking that interview as. That's why the firstly only I highlighted what that take that interview as a conversation. There only your approach matters. If you just sitting there with a serious face and serious your hand movements or anything with a very nervous attitude, right, what will happen? They will just take that, okay, this person might not perform well in terms of a stressful situation, right? Because everybody know that candidates tend to be in a stressful situation when they are facing an interview, because there they are actually fighting for a job, for a very important post, right? So we are coming with this point that it is but natural that a person sitting in front of the interviewers will be in a stressful situation or might be a bit nervous, but you just need to control that nervousness of yours and present yourself in a bit confident manner, so that the way of presentation will take your whole information to a greater height, guys, right? So that's why I say this approach is going to be very important. Along with that, attitude plays an important role, because when we say attitude, the next thing which is coming to our mind is a positive attitude, guys, right? So you would have also experienced this in your practical life as well, or in your day-to-day life as well, that whenever you have a positive mindset towards it, the way of performing or the way of acquiring that particular position or that incident becomes very much enthusiastic, isn't it? But when you will be having any second thoughts about something, will I be able to perform good, or am I looking good in this attire, or should I go for this interview, should I fill this form or not, when these doubtful things will come into your mind, and this will actually cover up the things which should not go in a way that will hamper your outlook towards something, right? So as soon as you are going towards that interview room with a very positive mindset, let it be, I will produce my best version in front of them, no matter what happens later, right? We'll see it later, whatever the result will be, but that 30 minutes or 20 minutes, whichever I'm going to spend in that interview, should be the best version of me. With this attitude, when you go in, the answer bound to become from your mouth will be the best version of the answers which you can produce, guys, right? So I believe this approach and attitude is going to be a game changer in aspects of your interview, right? Moving ahead, we have the second one, very important one, body language. Everybody knows that how you sit in front of them, how you have entered towards the room where your interview is going to get conducted, right? All things matter. Even you would have also noticed that when you are sitting outside of the room or waiting for your turn to come, you would have also seen a lot of CCTV cameras would be placed around you, right? So it might be a possibility that they are actually looking at your ways and how you're responding to the people who are sitting around you, or what kind of conversation you are indulging in, right? So this body language is going to play an important role, not only in terms of that interview room only, but how you are behaving or conversing in out of that room as well, right? When I say body language, you should not sit in front of an interviewer, or the male candidates will be start playing with your tie, or the female ones will be start playing with your let's say dupatta, or anything which is coming to your hand, or let's say with the pen which is kept on the table, and you start like playing with it, right? So all these things are nothing but an indication which you are giving them that you are a bit nervous, right? So you need to be very much be sure about that, how you are actually behaving, what kind of a signal your body language is conveying to them, right? So the very first thing which you can keep intact in the second part is have a direct eye contact with the people who are sitting in front of them, guys, right? When you are actually having an eye contact with all of them, they will get this idea that the person who is sitting in front of them is confident enough to look directly in our eyes, right? So here comes the first sign where you can show how confident you are, guys, right? If you are not feeling comfortable with something, or let's say when you have to answer something which you are not aware of, you can directly say, I'm sorry as of now, or I apologize, I am not aware of the answer of this question, right? But at that time, your body language should not give them a indication that this person has that collapsed, right? That person is now breaking in terms of the confidence. You should not behave in that way. Just maintain your calm and a calm composure throughout that session, even though they are giving you, or they are throwing any such kind of a question which you aren't aware, right? Because understand this thing in this way, guys, that we all are human beings, right? We are not aware of A to Z of each and everything, right? So there might be a possibility you don't know one or two questions. So your body language should remain intact throughout the session, guys, right? always you can have a subtle smile on your face, because that gives a signal that the person sitting in front of them is having a charming personality, right? So that can act as a indicator for them that this person or this candidate might be a best fit for our organization, right? Moving ahead, the third one, clarity of thoughts. Now this clarity of thoughts I have written as one point, but if you see it carefully, each and every point which I have written over the board is coming from or deriving from the same one, guys, right? Because once your thoughts are clear, your attitude will become right, your body language will become right, your plans, your enthu, everything will get sorted, because you are structured in your mind, right? But you don't know that if they are going to ask a question, let's say tell me about yourself, and you haven't prepared about that what all thoughts you will be putting in, and the answers will be refrained according to you, right? So when this thing will not be clear, the answers which will be coming out of your mouth will be haphazard manner, right? It will not give a sequential formation of information what you are, right? What answer you are going to include in your tell me about yourself question or any other question, right? So this clarity of thoughts should be from perspective of your approach, why you are sitting in front of them, what drove you towards that position, guys, and what made you or what compelled you to go for this exam and sit in that interview, right? So this clarity of thought should be there, that why are you pursuing it? If they would have asked you, let's say, what is your hobby, or what are your interests towards, let's say, besides studying. So if you are saying any one or two factors, let's say I am good at badminton, I like playing badminton. So this clarity of thoughts will come into your mind, that why you have chosen this badminton, as in somebody would have acted as a role model for you, right? Or let's say why you are choosing finance. Like a lot of people would have seen that they would have pursued BTech or let's say engineering, and after that they are applying for, let's say, a banking job or any such as PO or as in clerk. So you should set up your mind that if you are doing a career shift, why you are making it, what has compelled you to do so, right? So this clarity of thought should always be there in your mind. Now, do not try to copy all these things from the persons who have already qualified, right, guys? Because I kept on repeating, even I have said this in the previous session as well, that do not try to copy anybody's answer based on the success ratio of that person, right? Because I said you can copy the way somebody is expressing their answer, but you cannot copy the content of it, right? So this thought should be original and it should be yours. Moving ahead, we have the career plan. Now, this career plan is actually deriving from the previous one only. For example, if you are sitting in front of them and competing for a position of, let's say, officer, right? So what kind of plan you are actually making it for your future, right? After being an officer, what are your thoughts which is there on your mind, that how you are going to climb the ladder of your success, what kind of expectations you have from your organization, right? All things will come unto this. Now, when I talk about a plan, guys, this plan should be realistic, right? You should not give any ABC answers in order to impress them, that I would like to do that, I would like to do this. You should always be realistic in terms of a plan which you are pursuing, because let's say down the lane 5 to 10 years, if you are coming across the same set of people again, so it might be a very awkward situation, that what kind of plans you have devised at that time and how well you are justifying that will not be having a match between, right? So whenever you are devising any kind of a career plan, you should always take your current position in the scenario, the organization where you are applying for, the background through which you belong to, and how realistic it is to overcome that plan, guys, right? So I believe making a career plan is going to be an important aspect throughout your journey, because this is not only important in terms of an interview, guys, because this is also important in terms of your life, right? When I know that what I'm going to do for tomorrow, and if I have made this routine for tomorrow, my tomorrow's this whole day will be sorted, right? I won't be like waking up confused at what I need to do today, right? So when we have a plan, or when we have sorted our day's activities in chunks, right, it's become easy to go ahead with that plan, right? So that's why planning is very much important. Moving ahead onto the fifth point of today's session, that says enthusiasm. Now, this is actually applicable for all the points which we have discussed. Whenever we are answering any question, or whenever we are actually possessing or saying anything about our career plan, or let's say clarity of thoughts, a person must be enthusiastic, isn't it? Because in a way, when you are explaining your attitude, or in a way you are explaining your career plan, or in a way when you are explaining your answer to any question, guys, if that is, and that thing will come under your passion area. If you are very passionate about that job which you are applying for, this enthusiasm will come naturally in front of you, right? Because when somebody is excited, for example, when you are actually watching a match between India and Pakistan, let's say, right, that's a very interesting one to go for. So, but obvious the thing is, all the citizens of India, let's say Pakistan as well, will be very excited to know what is going to happen next, right? So that's enthusiasm comes naturally when you are watching that cricket match or something. So same thing should be there visible in terms of an interview as well, because you are actually fighting for that seat where a lot of people or a lot of candidates are waiting for. So that enthusiasm of yours should be unmatchable as compared to the people who are sitting around you, right? So these are the things where you can make a difference in order to prove that you are a best fit for the seat which you have applied for, guys, right? Moving ahead, guys, we have the next three important points, which is very much important in terms of your expectations from the interviewer side, guys. So moving ahead, the sixth one, that talks about the team skills, right? You know, that has become a very much important aspect in terms of any job which you are applying for, guys, right? Yes, an organization expects their candidate to perform any duty individually, as well as how you are performing in a team will also matter, right? Because we don't know, you can come across any such situation where you will be an important part of the team, right? So before leading a team, you should be a part of the team, guys, whenever you are coming across any such opportunity, right? Now, how a person is, or how an interviewer is going to ask a question to you, right? So they are not actually going to ask you any question that what are your team skills or how do you perform in a team, right? Because obviously a person is not going to say that I am very good at, or I'm not good at managing a team, right? Obviously a person can say that I am good at managing it, but they are going to ask any such question that tell me an incident about from your college or school where you have organized something, or you have worked in a team, or how you have managed a team, right? So actually whenever these questions are coming from your college days or anything from your school days, is actually meant to see that whether or how you work in a team, or what all have you accomplished as a team, right? For example, you can take any reference of your college festivals or any editorial team you are a part of. It can be anything, right? But you should always explain that as a team how you have taken each and every candidate into your perspective, and you haven't neglected any of them, right? So how well you have organized your team skills, what kind of creativity you have organized as a team leader as well as a team member, guys, right? So you need to tell about, in the perspective of team skills, guys, the two things, that how you work as a team member and how you work as a team leader, right? Because both the things will be very much important in terms of your potential as a good candidate, guys. Moving ahead, the very important term is ethics, guys. No matter how modern we become, no matter what kind of policies will get introduced to any organization, but once you are not good at going or keeping your moral policies together, or your moral conduct together in any organization, nobody is going to appreciate you, no matter how much work you are going or doing in that work, right? In that place. So you should keep your ethics intact, guys, because despite of any situation you are coming across, or there might be any situation, there might be a problem in your organization where your moral things will get challenged, right? So that time you must keep calm and keep your thoughts intact and be clear about what should be your primary aim to go for, right? So in this way, these problems can be tackled away. Now, interviewer can ask the same question or the same kind of question in a way that describe any situation in your life where your moral ethics was challenged and how you overcome that, right? So actually, they are trying to understand how you take that challenge or how you take that scenario to tackle any problem, right? So they just want to know your approach towards it, right? So that's why ethics is becoming a very, very important part when they're asking you any such kind of a question in an interview, guys, right? Moving ahead, the last point what we are going to understand is a versatile or versatility. Is nothing but how flexible you are, how enthusiastic you are to take up any problem or take up any challenge, right? There might be at times in an organization that was hit by a lot of problems, and nobody is going to take a responsibility of that I am here and I am going to at least try my best to come out of that problem, right? So you can act as a savior over there, or you can act as a hero over there, and you can take that challenge to prove yourself, guys, right? Because these are the opportunities which are thrown onto any candidate so that you take that whole negative scenario or the negative environment to a positive one, right? Never be afraid of sharing any creative ideas wherever you have in your mind, right? So even during an interview, during the whole conversation, if you might get stuck at any problem or let's say any discussion which might is turning in towards a negative one, or let's say they are stuck at any problem, right? But you have a solution in your mind, right, about that, and you had always kept that throughout your life, and you have always used it in a practical way. You can share that solution to them, guys, right? We don't know whether they are going to apply it or not, but at least they will feel this thing that this candidate has given a thought onto the problem, isn't it? So we don't know whether this is going to solve a problem or not, but as of now you have already got some brownie points because you have shared a thought onto the problem which you think can be acting as a corrective measure, right? So this can also give you some of the points when you are sitting in an interview, guys, right? So I believe this 8 points we have discussed in today's session would have given you a brief from the perspective of an interviewer, right? So whenever you will be framing any answer of the expected questions or any questions which they are giving in, you should always keep all these 8 points in your mind. So whatever your answer should be, they must include the essence of all these 8 points, guys. So I believe this would have given you a brief insight about that how an interview should be. I believe this would help you in cracking the interview which is lined up for you, guys. I wish all the best to all of you. Thank you.